Recording in progress.
Good morning, all of you. Now we are going to start our session. When you see this slide, we can think about designing Taekwondo training plan. Just a moment. Yeah, may I audible to everyone? My voice is clear, no? Can you show your thumb? Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, now we'll go for our class. Designing Taekwondo training plan is a vast subject and very important to all Taekwondo coaches, as Madam said. I am sincere to take this class. In this class, we can see first, this is designing. When you see the designing of Taekwondo training plan, without plan, we cannot execute anything. Example, when you come for this class, you have to plan to attend this class at the right time. With this, we will go for first slide. Introduction. The introduction, we'll see training plan is the most important part of the training process. For training process, our Taekwondo training plan is very important to take class. As a coach, it's very important for us. Training plan is the actual implementation of training process. So success of sports training depends on the well-planned and well-implemented training program. अगर आप प्लानिंग नहीं कर रहा तो वेल प्लान नहीं है तो ये सेशन अच्छा नहीं होगा. ट्रेनिंग प्लान, planning, organization, implementation of training process in training plan in the subject matter of the training program. अगर आप कैसा बना रहे हो, how you are making the training program, according to that your session will go through. It is a blueprint of implementing the sports training. ये blueprint है. अगर आप when you go for engineering or when you plan to go for constructing one house, you need a blueprint like that. When you go to organize one training program, you need a blueprint. So this is a blueprint for you. Coaching and can be altered as per the requirement of the coach or athlete. ये जरूरत है कि कोच और एथलीट को very important. It's very important to the coach because we used to teach them for every session. So that this training plan is very important to the coaches. Next. Planning. Planning का मतलब क्या है? Definition for planning. Planning is a relation process of thinking in advance about our aims and how we can achieve them. अगर आपको ये एम होता है आज स्पीड ट्रेनिंग करना और एंड्योरेंस ट्रेनिंग करना, वो अचीव करने के लिए अगर आप मैक्सिमम अचीव किया कि नहीं, वो प्लानिंग में आप प्लान करना चाहिए, आपको ट्रेनिंग प्लान में होना चाहिए. Planning can be understood as the process of making a sequence of work for a future line of action. अगर ये एक्शन है आपका एक्शन है, ये सीधा लाइन में होना चाहिए, इधर उधर घूम रहे तो आपको टारगेट अचीव नहीं पाएगा तुरंत, मतलब ये टाइम लगेगा। और इसके लिए प्लानिंग जरूरत है कि आप सीधा जाने के लिए इन ए लाइन यू हैव टू गो, सो दैट यू नीड अ training plan for our taekwondo class. It's very, very important. Next. So the definition of planning, we have to see the definition of planning is the basic process of setting of goals to be reached and course of action to be followed. ये फॉलो करने के लिए ट्रेनिंग प्लान जरूरत है। अकॉर्डिंग टू क्रायोल एल हुडसन, एक आदमी है क्रायोल एल हुडसन, what he is telling about the definition is a planning is to produce a scheme for further action to bring about specified at specified costs in a specified period of time. ये within the period, ये specified period of time का मतलब है अगर आप डिस्ट्रिक्ट चैंपियनशिप के लिए प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो और प्लान कर रहे हो और स्टेट चैंपियनशिप के लिए आपका प्लान बना रहे हो और आप ओलंपिक के लिए प्लान बना रहे हो, it is very, very important you have to mention in a specific manner. अगर आप स्पेसिफिक मैनर नहीं कर पाएगा तो ये प्लानिंग अच्छा नहीं होगा। When you plan, you have to decide your specific place of achievement or specific time to achieve. Next, according to Kenneth H. Killen, planning is the process of deciding in advance what is to be done. यह है कि if suppose you prepare for your state championship, means coming around February last week, so that planning should be made in advance, not at the time of particular time. When you planning, you need to design this within before the time period, that is called advance. Who is to do it? Who is to do it means कौन करना, how is to do, how is to be done, वो कैसा करना चाहिए, और where is to be done, कहाँ करना, ये these three things very, very important when you go for taekwondo training plan. What are the three is what is to be done, who is to be done, how is to be done, and where is to be done. So that this is very, very important. You have to consider in a training plan according to your situation. In this slide, I want to tell one more thing. Cannot follow the others. दूसरा का plan हम follow नहीं कर पाएगा क्योंकि if suppose you are planning for UP state championship, means you cannot follow the Tamil Nadu Taekwondo championship program, because the climatic condition, nature of food, nature of work entirely same. Like that, in South, when you talk about any state, in that particular state, that south side food is maybe different. The north side of the food is north side of the state food is different. So that entirely it will change. So don't follow others training program. So you have to make by yourself according to your situation, according to your time, according to your students, so that everything will come under the definition of planning. So next slide. Needs and values of training program. Excuse me. When you talk about needs and values of training program, it is the instrument which guides to the coach in training the activity or subject. The instrument, when you talk about that instrument or guides, that the training program is like instrument for the coach to achieve his goal in a proper manner. It gives confidence to the coach in handling the training, and he or she able to cope up with the problem that arise during the training. अगर आपका प्लान हाथ में है तो आपका प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रहा है, कैसा भी आ रहा है तो भी आप मैनेज कर पाएगा, क्योंकि when you plan properly you can execute your plan in the very proper manner. If suppose if you don't have plan, sometimes the problem may arise that you cannot cope up during that time. It helps to the coach to be very fluent in his activities and more convincing training. ये ट्रेनिंग में आप कन्विंस होगा कि आप अच्छा कर रहे हो तो आप कन्विंस कर पाएगा. It prevents the coach to face the training out of the stabilized certain of the subject matter to be trained. If you have a training program in your hands, you can develop your skills in the proper manner. If you today if you plan for speed training, you can go for speed training. Otherwise, you may change your training program. But in this training program, you may next slide will go. It helps to the coach in training preparation. Once again. It helps the coach in training to portion of the content of training which within the given time. This within the time limit you can complete that particular task. A well-planned training program helps the coach to monitor, analyze, and adjust the training on the basis of reason given by the trainees. Once again, a well-planned training helps the coach to monitor, analyze, and adjust the training on the basis of reasons given by the trainees. If you plan properly, you can monitor the training whether after that speed workout or endurance workout, whether they improve or not. You can analyze how they are doing. We can adjust how we can take it in a serious manner like that. It helps to work out. It helps to work out load parameters in detail and study the factors affecting the structure of training program in order to make essential adjustment. This will help to work out the load parameters like whether you are giving optimal or load or recovery period. This you have to mention in the training program, training plan. Otherwise, if every day you give overload, means they will get fatigue. If fatigue comes, the performance will be get down. Once the performance will get, if the performance get down because of overload, you may think, okay, the trainees is not cooperating with me like that. But it's not like that. When you give overload, they cannot cooperate or they cannot perform nicely. A well-planned training program helps the athlete to understand current status and the target to be achieved for further training. ये plan आप अच्छा मतलब when you do the well training plan, this will help the trainees, अगर आप ये आपका ट्रेनिंग को हेल्प होगा कैसा, मतलब ये नेक्स्ट प्लानिंग के लिए, नेक्स्ट ट्रेनिंग सेशन के लिए this will help. Otherwise the overload, something may occurs, they may disturb their performance. Like that, you have to plan very well in manner. Before we going to the next slide, we need to know that without proper plan we cannot execute our training. So we need every session we need proper training plan, and we should not follow others according to the timing or according to the space. Somebody have mat, somebody don't have mat, they may training on the floor. So that according to your situation you have to plan. So don't follow others' plan. Next we'll go for training plan. What is training plan? When you're talking about training plan, this is two types. One is short-term plan or annual plan or micro cycle. Excuse me. When you talking about short-term plan, there is under the short-term plan there are so many stages, but you have to note that first short-term plan, or that is also called as annual plan or micro cycle. This is for 1 year plan, we can say. We can tell this as 1 year plan. Next one is long-term plan. Next one is long-term plan. This is also called as Olympic plan or conceptual plan. Conceptual plan, this will come around 4 to 16 years. Every 4 years we have Olympics. Like that, it will come 4 to 16 years. So if you talk about training plan, there is two types. One is short term, another one is long term. The short term we used to call macro cycle. Long term is called conceptual plan. Under that short term plan, mesocycle will come. That mesocycle is that 3 to 6 weeks. Also called monthly plan. We can say that mesocycle 3 to 6 week means you can add this as 5 weeks also. You can make it. Mesocycle will be 3 to 6 weeks. Under the mesocycle, the microcycle will come. It will cover 4 to 11 days. Microcycle will cover 4 to 11 days weekly. We can say it as weekly. That mesocycle monthly plan. So that microcycle is called 4 to 11 days, called weekly plan. Under that microcycle, the daily plan will come. Daily plan, every day we have to plan, means every day, for everyday training there is a plan. That everyday training you can divide it into 4 sessions. Each day you can divide it into 4 sessions. In that 4 session, the training session plan will come. So the very small planning is that session plan. It will be not more than 2 hours. If you plan for 3 hours, the child or the athlete or his performance may not increase, because the kids, the small age peoples may not improve their training because means they may occur fatigue. If the fatigue comes during the tired time, they cannot perform well. So that it should be not more than 2 hours. If you see reverse, first the training session plan will come. The 4 session will come in the daily plan. maximum 4 you can say. Regularly we used to do practice morning and evening. When the championship comes, we used to multiple as the 3. We used to multiple like 3 or maximum 4 you can say. Above the day plan, the microcycle will come, that is 4 to 11 days. You have to multiple with the 4 to 11 days. ये और बढ़ जाएगा डेली प्लान से और ये बढ़ जाएगा. माइक्रो साइकिल 4 to 11 डेज आएगा. उसके बाद मीसो साइकिल ये डे प्लान से इफ यू ऐड 5 weeks, it will become monthly plan, that is meso cycle, that will consist of 3 to 6 weeks. This will come around 6 weeks. Yes. Okay. When you include all monthly, the short term plan, 1 year plan will come. If 12 months plan, if you add that, 1 year plan will come. So according to that, first short term plan and long term plan, in that micro cycle 3 to 6 week, sorry, meso cycle 3 to 6 week, micro cycle 4 to 11 days, daily plan, maximum 4 sessions. You can add it as 3 sessions, no problem. In the training session plan, not more than 2 hours. Form of the training session plan. When you speak about forming of daily session plan, it will cover 2 individual plan, group plan, and free training plan, free decision. If you talking about form of training lesson plan, the 1 session plan or lesson plan, or in Taekwondo, if you talk about individual lesson plan, if suppose it will vary in every individual. If suppose one heavyweight boy is there, one sub-junior boy is there, as we discussed before, like it will change, it will differ according to your place of training or your climatic condition, like that. The individual plan also will be different. For sub-junior, repetitions will be different, weight will be different. For cadet, weight will be different. If suppose he is higher weight, you have to plan according to that. He may not run maximum like that. For individual, you have to make separate plan. You can make it. Then group plan, when you go for group training, one group like sub-junior group, cadet group, or junior group, senior group, like that, you can make it a group-wise plan also. Then free training plan, the athlete can take a decision, like just a minute. Athlete will decide his own training or free decision. इसमें athlete in the weaker section, athlete will start training. When you talk about free training, he may think my stepping is not perfect. He may think my dolechagi is not perfect, like that. He may train in an individual manner. That is called free training plan. So that in session plan or in daily plan, you can make it as individual plan separately. You can make it group plan. You can make it separately, or free training plan you can make separately. Under this, perfection training session or assessment training session also will come. Perfection training session, as we speak, the achieving or performing of repetition of new technique skills and technique with perfection. That in the perfection training session, you can perform your specific kick like dolechagi or duchagi. One you can go for a new technique. Like next slide, sir. Next, we will go for objectives of a Taekwondo training program. Objective is potentiality of the group or individual player, importance of development, aim or objective, availability of facilities and time, test and measurements, next level of progress in player technique. This everything will come under matters to be considered. You have to consider this during plan your session. Potential of the group, that is we spoke about that, how much they can perform. We cannot give overload within short period. Importance of development, इसमें आप कौन सा जगह में develop करना, like in that speed or strength, endurance, which part you have to develop. A high kick, flexibility or coordination, it will come under that. Availability of facilities and time, आपका कितना time है, मतलब if you plan for March, you have only 1 month. If you plan for April, that will be different. Facilities क्या आपके पास mat है और whatever you have facilities, somebody have target, somebody don't have target, or they may don't have facilities. So that according to the availability of facilities and time, you have to plan. This you have to consider while designing training plan. Test and measurement. इसका मतलब है, when you talking about test and measurement, if you give speed training or power kicking training, how you have to measure? Within this minute, he is performing this much. This kick is in this particular perfection. You have to measure. Like the test and measurements also you have to consider. Level of progress in player's technique. How much he develops means his skill is separate. You have to consider. Otherwise, your plan will be not completely designed. Objectives of training plan. Objective of Taekwondo training program. The primary objective of training program is to achieve maximization of Taekwondo competition power through a systematic and designed reinforcement of the athlete. The primary objective of training program is achieving maximization of Taekwondo competition power through a systematic and designing reinforcement of the athlete. The following three elements are interrelation with each other. Maximizing the physical optional, general and specific physical abilities, developing specific techniques and tactics, or correction of basic and applied techniques, as well as understanding of competition strategy, developing specific techniques and developing psychology status like willpower, confidence, passive thinking, and mental toughness. In that objective, you have to see the first objective, that is physical potential. It means you have to develop your physical potential like speed, strength, endurance, coordination, flexibility. Like you have to concentrate in that manner, particular manner. Second one is developing technique and tactics. When you're talking about technique and tactics, it will come like strategy and potential of the team or individual. It will come. Next, the developing of psychology. We talk about psychology, the willpower to fight, or the scariness, or confident to fight, passive thinking, the positive thinking, and mental toughness. ये fight करने का मन है कि नहीं, ये मालूम होना चाहिए. If you planning according to that, then you will understand the players' mental toughness. So these three, that is, if you say simply physical, technical, and psychological, technical, tactical, and psychological, these three is very, very important. When you plan for whole year, or if you plan for your main competition, you have to think these three things. One is physical potential, and technical and tactical. Then third one is psychological. These three is very, very important. This is objective of a Taekwondo training program. Next, 5 principles of designing a Taekwondo training program. ये 5 principles क्या है? मतलब principles of comprehensiveness, principles of consciousness, principles of progressiveness, principles of repetition, principle of individuality. Comprehensiveness, consciousness, progressiveness, repetition, individuality. If first, when you talking about comprehensiveness, this means a comprehensive development of physical competition component developed, such as muscle strength, speed, endurance, power, coordination, flexibility, etc., as well as functional mental element of Taekwondo. If you're talking about comprehensiveness, the strength, speed, endurance, power, coordination, flexibility have to develop. Next, when you're talking about consciousness will coming under conveyance of program regarding the means and methods of training. How you are to teach, which method you are going to follow. The step-by-step method is there, or part by part method, demonstration method. This will come under consciousness. Next, when you talk about principle of progressiveness, principle of progressiveness means an accurate progressive adjustment of quality, value of load, a progressive complication of techniques, both in theory and practical. Example, competition work. The principle of progressiveness example is combination of attack and defense technique with the footwork with steps. You have to keep it in your mind. Next, principle of repetition. When you talk about repetition, the aim at measuring conditioned reflection action and improving of principle of individuality. Sorry, principle of repetition we have to talk, no? Yeah. For this example, repeated number of kicks or physical workouts like push-up or kicking, this will come under principle of repetition. Next, fifth one is principle of individuality. When you talk about principle of individuality, the individual special qualities must be taken into the consideration. इसमें इंडिविजुअल का क्या पोटेंशियल है, क्या इंडिविजुअल स्पेसिफिक क्वालिटी है, ये आप दिमाग में लेके आप प्लान करना चाहिए. एग्जांपल, specialization kick or of this special, the particular athlete, we can say individual. When you talk about individuality, you have to consider the particular athlete for individual training plan. Next, preparation for a training lesson plan, one session or one lesson. This is very, very important when you go for planning. Each training plan have three portions, that is preparation, body, conclusion. Before that, a training lesson plan is the smallest unit of training program. Training program, this is the smallest unit of training program. A training lesson plan is generally divided into three parts. As we discussed, the lesson plan is generally divided into three parts. But if you plan for three or more additional tasks, a task ka matlab, if you want to develop power or flexibility or coordination in one session, then the plan can consist of more than three parts. ये one session का अंदर आप और बढ़ाना चाहिए. ये three-part session includes ये single lesson plan में three parts आएगा ना, वो preparation. That preparation is, the second one is body. Body is also called the main part. The main part. The third one is conclusion part. Conclusion is called as conclude. Next we will go for preparation. That first part will go for in deep. When we talk about preparation,
Recording in progress.
Preparation introductory part is helping to aim the athlete for the main session. If suppose you are telling we are going to prepare today speed training, it means he will prepare mentally and physically, so that this preparation period, the preparation part, introductory part, will help to the player for the next main task. Body of the main part. Main part is the body of the training plan. When you're talking about the body, it is the second part of training plan. In this part, the intent, task, or aim of the training session is or achieved. So that when you planning for strength or speed session, you have to intend the task. The main task, the aim of task of a training session can be several types. Hence, the content of the main part of training plan also cannot be a uniform pattern. It should not be a uniform pattern. That you have to keep in your mind. If there is only one training task in a training plan, then the main part is easier to organize. अगर ये आपका training program में only one session or only one task, if you are keeping, you are going to gym or you are designing circuit training, it's very easy. If you go for 3 or more than 2 tasks, it will be little difficult. You have to plan in a proper manner. Example, speed and coordination training should be performed before technical and tactical development. Why we are telling speed and coordination means when you go for technical and tactical before, the performance will increase. When you go for speed and coordination, should be performed before technique and tactics, so that the technique and tactics will develop easily. If you go for strength training, before the technique and tactics should come. When you go for endurance training, that endurance will be the last. After endurance, if you go for technique and tactics, that technique tactics will not develop. There is some obstacles will stop their performance. In case of 3 or more than one task, the main part should further subdivided with adequate rest period in between. If you plan for 3 component session, you need to give compulsory gap for recovery. If you are अगर आप सीधा पूरा कर रहे तो तक जाएगा, so that you have to give little rest period to get recovery. Before concluding main part, plan lead up or recreation activity to refresh the mind of the trainees. If you go for intensive training, you can give recreation type of workout to refresh their mind. So that this you have to keep in your mind to you have to keep in your mind while making up the body of the training plan. The body of the training plan also called the main part. Next, the conclusion part. When you're talking about conclusion part, one second, excuse me. When you're talking about the conclusion, it is the third and final part of the training plan. The concluding part aims at gradually bring down the function of level of the body to normal receiving level. In this conclusion part, you have to bring down your body temperature. You have to calm down. If you go intensive training in that conclusion part, bring your body relax. It is also aims at facilitating recovery and relaxation after the exhaustive work done in the main part. It takes up to 10 to 15 minutes only. Why? Because we are telling 5 to 10 minutes for warming up, 10 to 15 minutes for warm down. Because you need more time for warm down, you have to keep your body in the normal condition. Walking or jogging will help to clear lactic acid from the muscle group. This is very important because when you work harder, the lactic acid will accumulate to your muscles so that the fatigue will come. So you have to release that lactic acid through jogging or walking type of slow down workouts. But one advice, don't go intensive training or heavy training in the concluding part. So it will be affect your athlete performance. आपका बच्चा का performance कमती हो जाएगा. Next, concluding part generally consists of two things, that is cool down and assembly and informal discussion. This is also very important. When you thinking about concluding part, you have to thinking about assembly and warm down. Warm down तो करता है, अगर ये assembly करता है क्या, means everybody will not go for assembly, somebody will finish like formally, but everybody need to go for assembly because we have to give a formal instruction for next class. Next class कब होता है और next session कब शुरू होगा, अब कब आना, क्या क्या लेके आना, what we are going to do for the next session, like that. Formal discussion should be in that conclusion part. When you are, so that when you design the training plan, these three parts is very, very important, so that you can give a proper idea of the training to your athletes, your students. Next, conclusion. In this, what we learned, conducting a training session should follow a certain parameters and guidelines of scientific training and schedule or prepared to facilitate the proper application and implementation. ये है कि आप ये गाइडलाइन है आपका प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग बनाने के लिए. अगर ये आपका प्रॉपर प्लानिंग नहीं है तो आपको आइडिया नहीं मिलेगा. So in Taekwondo we have prepare a training plan as a guide for coaches and senior athletes to train and instruct the athletes for maximum delivery of appropriate skills and techniques needed in Taekwondo competitions. With this, we are finishing our session. So thank you so much. Samvida. So I'm giving to Madam Mary. Madam, please, Madam. Madam, excuse me. Or anybody have question? We have 10 more minutes. I hope everybody understand this session. Can you show a thumbs up?
Thank you, Karthikeyan.
Sir, thank you, sir. Master, good,
You're
good
looking
morning, Master.
handsome.
Thank you, Master.
Wonderful class. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
are happy, looking smart. Everybody is attentive. I was looking at everybody, whether they are attending it or not, but I could see that all have, because this is a very, very important topic, as you all know, that programming, if a training program is wrong, I think everything is going to be wrong. So आप अपना क्वेश्चन पहले ध्यान से देख लें, अगर आपको कोई सवाल है, और अगर नहीं है तो फिर हम सवाल करेंगे आपसे. What do you say, Karthik?
Yes, sir. Exactly,
They
Master.
don't have question. I
Yes,
have many questions.
Surely, Master. This type of session we need regularly, Master. Because
Yeah, definitely. Our fellow coaches, no, all these 63 people, they are all very disciplined and very, very enthusiastic to learn. And
yes, I am also watching them.
Yeah, they are coming. They are coming physically to Bangalore, and we will be inviting you also.
Surely,
so let
Master.
us. Huh?
I am very happy to.
Yeah. Surely, we are also.
Thank you, Master.
Please see if you have any question. Aap puchiye, okay? Mr. Karthikeyan will answer, and then evening we can have a discussion.
Yes, thank you, Master.
Yeah, you have another 8 minutes to go. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Please unmute yourself.
सर जो आपने ये सेक्शन बताए थे सर, प्रैक्टिस के 4 टाइम शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन में जो बताए थे,
yes.
कि 1 साल की हम अगर प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, किसी को एथलीट को ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हैं, तो सर कंपटीशन से पहले जो 3 to 6 वीक आपने बताया कि 1 डे में, एक दिन में 4 हमने प्रैक्टिस टाइम रखना है, और 2 घंटे से ज्यादा उनको प्रैक्टिस नहीं कराना है.
मतलब छोटा बच्चा के लिए, नॉट फॉर सीनियर्स.
अच्छा, ठीक है सर, थैंक यू.
यस.
सर रविंद्र सर, जो आपने अभी क्वेश्चन किया कि 2 आवर्स का ट्रेनिंग कराना है, तो 2 आवर्स का ट्रेनिंग सर होल डे में 2 आवर का ट्रेनिंग है या रेस्ट दे दे के 2 आवर की ट्रेनिंग है सर, वो बताइए सर, क्लियर कीजिए सर.
Once again you please tell your questions.
सर 2 आवर का ट्रेनिंग जो देना है,
yes.
उसको क्या कहते हैं, हाफ आवर करके कंडक्ट करना है कि किस तरह से कंडक्ट करना है सर?
No. One session 2 hours means within the 2 hours 3 parts will come: introductory part, main part and conclusion part.
Right.
इसका बीच में पानी थोड़ा आपको आपका प्लेयर्स का थकावट दे के, if they playing very tired, you can give a little rest. Okay. Not for full session. Means morning half an hour, not evening half an hour. Morning 2 hours means within that you have to break up accordingly. After warming up, little break. After main session, after weight training, little break. Then warm down, like that.
Okay.
Understand, no?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
सर गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
Yes, good morning.
सर डे प्लान में आपने बताया 4 सेशन करना है. सर ये 4 सेशन में मतलब ये सेशन रहेंगे जिसमें सर जैसे स्पीड ट्रेनिंग है, किकिंग ट्रेनिंग है या कॉम्बिनेशन ट्रेनिंग है, ये सेशन कहलाएंगे सर डे प्लान में? सर ये 2 घंटे के अंदर करना है इसी को.
One session will come under 2 hours. आपको समझ गया ना? ये एक सेशन है 2 घंटा का अंदर आएगा. अगर आप 4 सेशन है, एक दिन का अंदर 4 सेशन है, तो आप समझ गया ना? एक दिन
जैसे
का
सर
yes, please once again.
सर ये 4 सेशन है, इसमें लगा डे प्लान 4 सेशन.
Okay.
मतलब पूरे दिन में ये 4 सेशन लेना है सर ये.
Okay, yes. You can make it if you need. आपको जरूरत है तो 4 सेशन ले सकता.
Yes, मतलब see what the literature says, कि if you need it, see he is telling very clearly, if you don't need it, don't do it. See, for example, volume is the amount of training, intensity is difficulty of training. अगर किसी को 100 मीटर का स्प्रिंट लगाना है, you cannot train for 2 hours. स्पीड सेशन इज बहुत छोटा होता है, 20 मिनट्स में ट्रेनिंग इज फिनिश्ड, हाफ एन आवर. ट्रेनिंग इज ओवर। इसका मतलब है वो ट्रेनिंग कैसा है, हाई इंटेंसिटी लो वॉल्यूम है या हाई वॉल्यूम लो इंटेंसिटी है?
सर लो वॉल्यूम और हाई इंटेंसिटी।
हाँ, डिफिकल्टी इज वेरी हाई, ड्यूरेशन इज लो, शॉर्ट. So this type of training is very short. You can have 4 sessions a day because you recover quickly. If you do speed and quick training, you recover quickly. But if you do oxidative training, वॉल्यूम ज्यादा है, 2 घंटे का तुमने उनको ट्रेनिंग कराया, नॉर्मली सैटरडे को वी गो फॉर क्रॉस कंट्री. व्हाई? बिकॉज यू डोंट रिकवर. इफ यू डू क्रॉस कंट्री ऑन मंडे, your whole week is spoiled. Because first day if you do high volume training, you do not recover the same day. Monday ka training bhi gaya, Tuesday ka training also spoiled. So Mr. Karthikeyan is telling very clearly that if you need it, now marathon runner, every day cross country only, but their planning is like that. One day they will do technique, one day they do mental, one day they do a little bit of breathing exercise, then next day go full half marathon, then after 2 days they go for full marathon, sometime interval method, sometime continuous method, sometime repetition method. So it depends. Lekin a game like Taekwondo, which gets over in 8 minutes, one bout, in one day you have, if you want to go for gold medal, you may have to go 4, 5, 6 bouts sometime. So how you go closer to the competition, we have 5, 6 sessions a day. 5 से 6 सेशन भी होता है, छोटा छोटा. अगर कंपटीशन को रेप्लिकेट करना है, कंपटीशन के जैसा मिमिक करना है, मिरर करना है, तो यू हैव टू ट्रेन सेम लाइक कंपटीशन ओनली. यू कैनॉट ट्रेन 2-3 hours in the morning and 2-3 hours in the evening. कंपटीशन तक ऐसे प्लानिंग से नहीं जाते हैं. अगर 1 year है तो 1 year को हम डिवाइड करते हैं. प्रिपरेटरी पीरियड में अलग टाइप का ट्रेनिंग होता है, उसका एम अलग है, उसका वॉल्यूम डिफरेंट है, इंटेंसिटी डिफरेंट है, एक्सरसाइज सिलेक्शन डिफरेंट है, सब कुछ डिफरेंट है. फिर हम स्पेसिफिक प्रिपरेशन में जाते हैं. अगेन द एम ऑफ द फेस इज डिफरेंट, एक्सरसाइज सिलेक्शन इज डिफरेंट, वॉल्यूम इंटेंसिटी डिफरेंट, लोडिंग पैटर्न इज डिफरेंट, रिकवरी इज डिफरेंट, फोकस जिस चीज पे होता है वो डिफरेंट चेंज हो जाता है, इक्विपमेंट्स का यूज चेंज हो जाता है. Then when we go pre-competition, just before competition, again aim different, selection of exercise is different, duration of that session is different. फिर competition में होता, फिर transition, competition के बाद क्या करना है. हमारे इधर competition के बाद क्या करते हैं?
Unmute yourself, please.
रेस्ट लेते हैं सर.
हाँ,
रेस्ट.
सर थोड़ा रेस्ट लेते हैं.
रेस्ट लेते होंगे सर.
Transition period.
शॉपिंग करते, शॉपिंग. कंपटीशन फिनिश, गो फॉर शॉपिंग, शॉपिंग पीरियड, शॉपिंग फेस. उसके कंपटीशन के ठीक बाद ट्रांजिशन चालू होता है. ट्रांजिशन में फिर एम डिफरेंट, एवरीथिंग. तो व्हाट इज टेलिंग, अकॉर्डिंग टू योर नीड, अकॉर्डिंग टू द ड्यूरेशन, प्लानिंग यू हैव टू डू. ये 1 year का पीरियडाइजेशन के बारे ही इज टेलिंग. ओके.
Sir, thank you for your wonderful explanation, Master. But
Just-
I couldn't
just to
understand
add on,
his
just to add on.
language. Sorry, bit difficult to. I think he is speaking with Shuddh Hindi.
No problem.
Yes, thank you.
Your
Master.
Hindi is very good. We have already seen e-Pathshala. You have fantastic Hindi.
Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master.
Okay. Any more question? Please go ahead.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes. Good morning.
Sir, the total outcome of the short-term training plan is differs for the long-term training plan, right, sir?
Once again, please.
Sir, the total outcome of the short-term training plan
Yes.
is differs to the long-term training
Yes.
plan, right, sir?
Exactly.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
In this, we can add, without that short-term plan, that long-term plan will not come, because this long-term plan will come all together with the short-term plan only. Thank you, Sujit.
Thank you, sir.
Any more question, please?
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
Yes, please.
सर आपने फॉर्म ऑफ ट्रेनिंग लेसन प्लान मतलब ट्रेनिंग लेसन प्लान में आपने बताया कि इंडिविजुअल प्लान, ग्रुप प्लान,
हाँ।
फ्री ट्रेनिंग प्लान। सर
Yes.
जैसे कि इंडिविजुअल जो प्लान है ट्रेनिंग एथलीट के लिए,
Yes.
सब जूनियर के लिए एक अलग ट्रेनिंग शेड्यूल होगा,
मतलब
कैडेट के लिए अलग ट्रेनिंग।
सब जूनियर में कौन है इंडिविजुअल? वो हेवी वेट है और मिडिल वेट है, वो इंडिविजुअल होगा।
पर्टिकुलर जो वेट कैटेगरी है उसके हिसाब से उसका अकॉर्डिंग शेड्यूल
हाँ,
प्लान करना है।
इफ यू वांट, हाँ, वो इंडिविजुअल एथलीट के लिए अगर आपका एक स्टूडेंट्स है, वो
Sir.
अच्छा से कर रहा है, वो हेवी वेट में प्रैक्टिस कर रहा है, वो ट्रेनिंग दूसरा का अच्छा सेट नहीं होगा। आपका
वो
ट्रेनिंग
सब
प्लान
जूनियर
मेरे
के
को,
हिसाब से।
हाँ, मेरे हिसाब से और आपका हिसाब से उनके लिए ट्रेनिंग बनाना चाहिए। दैट इज कॉल्ड इंडिविजुअल ट्रेनिंग प्लान।
ओके सर। थैंक यू सर।
Thank you. One more request from my side. So many people, they are noting and asking questions. Those are so that you please note down that session and please ask questions. That will be better. Don't go through only slides or notes. It's my request. Master,
Yes. Any other question? I think we are done with the session. If there is no more questions, shall we wind up? हाँ भी नहीं बोलता है लोग।
Yes, sir. I cannot tell now.
Yeah. पढ़ेगा तो ऐसा देखता रहेगा, नहीं पढ़ेगा तो भी देखता रहेगा, कुछ बोलता नहीं है। चलिए जाइए। Thank you, Karthikeyan.
Thank you, Master. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Recording
Thank you so
stopped.
much.
Thank you, sir.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.